There's a really big story developing in global diplomacy, and it's putting a huge spotlight on the relationship between India and Israel, which is getting stronger by the day. So let's dive right into the headlines.
What we're seeing here is the bond between India and Israel really transforming into this powerful, almost textbook example of international friendship. Their political ties, their personal ties, they're getting deeper, and believe me, the world is starting to sit up and take notice.
And the biggest headline that proves this trend? Well, it's that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to visit India very, very soon. And this is a high-profile trip that carries a lot of symbolic weight.
Now, what's so fascinating about this is the timing. See, this visit wasn't even supposed to happen this year. Word is it was fast-tracked, moved up from next year after a direct phone call between the two prime ministers. That kind of move, well, it signals a real sense of urgency, and it really shines a light on the strong personal connection between these two leaders.
But hold on, Netanyahu's visit isn't just a one-off thing. It's actually the main event in a much larger, almost perfectly coordinated diplomatic push from Tel Aviv straight to New Delhi.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It is absolutely packed. You've got Foreign Minister Gideon in November, then, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu himself in December. Looking ahead, you've got Defense Minister Israel Katz in February, and then President Isaac Herzog sometime in the first part of 2026. This isn't just a bunch of meetings, okay? This is a loud and clear strategic signal that this partnership is in overdrive.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? What in the world is driving this? Why is their relationship heating up so quickly? Well, it all really comes down to a super solid foundation of mutual support and some very deeply shared interests.
This whole relationship, it's built on a you have my back, I have yours kind of principle. Think about it. After the October 7th attacks, India was very clear in its support for Israel. And on the flip side, Prime Minister Netanyahu has publicly backed India's stance during past conflicts. It's a real two-way street, where both countries show up for each other when it really counts.
And this support doesn't just come out of thin air. It's built on top of these incredibly strong pillars that were already there. For years, these two nations have had a really robust partnership in key sectors. In defense, for instance, they've worked together on advanced air defense systems. In tech, they're collaborating on everything from cybersecurity to innovations in agriculture. This is the bedrock, the very foundation of their alliance. But it goes even deeper than just policy and strategy. There's a really powerful personal connection here. People are saying Netanyahu is going to get a royal welcome, and there's even talk he might visit Gujarat, which is Prime Minister Modi's home state. A move like that would be a huge symbolic gesture, really hammering home the personal chemistry between these two leaders.
All right, now this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. There's a major external factor in play here, a complication, you could say, that's actually forcing Israel to rethink its entire global strategy.
Because you see, hovering over this entire visit is a pretty major international development. It's one that adds a whole new layer of complexity and, frankly, some very high stakes to Netanyahu's travel plans.
And that development is an arrest warrant. The International Criminal Court, the ICC, has issued an arrest warrant for Prime Minister Netanyahu. And that, on the world stage, is a serious legal and diplomatic challenge.
So, here's the kicker. The fact that he's still going ahead with this visit, despite that warrant, is being seen as a very deliberate strategic move by Israel. It's basically a pivot, a way to double down on relationships with trusted partners like India, and consciously look beyond its traditional allies in the West. This visit becomes more than a visit. It becomes a statement about where Israel sees its future.
So when you put all these pieces of the puzzle together, the personal connection, the strategic goals, the reaction to these global pressures, what you start to see is something much, much bigger than just a simple partnership taking shape.
Ultimately, what this all tells us is that the India-Israel friendship has evolved. It's really moved past being just a smart, strategic calculation. It is now this powerful symbol of a multi-layered alliance, one that's built just as much on deep political belief and personal bonds as it is on any kind of mutual interest.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. As these two major democracies carve out a new and powerful path together, how might their deepening alliance start to rewrite the global equation for everyone?